It's the Rice Sport here to do a video, and in this video I'm going to talk about Jesus since it's Christmas Eve today. And the question is, what color was Jesus, and does it really matter? Because we hear that a lot. Because Jesus is always pretty much portrayed as a white person. A lot of paintings have him with blonde hair and blue eyes. And the question is, was he really a white person? For a while, I actually did believe that he probably was for a little while. Because I see the Israelites, a lot of times they be white, but we'll get back with that. We gotta remember what Jesus was. Jesus was a Hebrew person. He was an Israelite, and the Israelites, they came from Jacob. They descended from Jacob, pretty much. But the Bible doesn't really say too much about what color the Hebrew people was. I think there's only like two times in the Bible that actually does talk about somebody's skin color, maybe more times than that. I don't know how that go back. This Bible's so big, but I can only think of 2 times when it actually does talk about somebody's skin color. But other than that, we could probably make a good guess to what color some of the Hebrew people were. We could take Joseph and Moses, for example. They were mistaken as Egyptian people. I mean, Joseph's brothers, they didn't even recognize him. All they had seen him since he was like 17. And I'm guessing he's like in his 30s, maybe 40s at this point. And they thought he was the Egyptian person. He even spoke the language. And we know that the Egyptian people were black people back in those days. So Joseph and Moses were most likely black people. Unless they had their skin color painted black. That's another possibility, but I'm just going to go with they were both black people. So whether Jacob's other sons were black, I mean, we don't really know. We can only take a guess. I mean, if Joseph was black, most likely Benjamin was black too. They had the same mom. And their mom had a sister too. And those kids from the sister was also Jacob's sons. So for example, Judah was like the son of Joseph's sister. I mean, Joseph's mother's sister. It's kind of confusing. Judah was pretty much Benjamin and Joseph's brother / cousin. Well, of course, some of them came from like their mother's maid service. There was 2 of them that did. I can't think of her name right now. But anyway, back to the topic about Jesus. So Jesus was pretty much born almost 2 millenniums after Joseph entered the land of Egypt. So I'll say about a little less than 2,000 years Jesus was born. So Jesus was born around 4 BC. I know it gets confusing because you're thinking before Christ, but people also got it wrong. So Jesus was born around 4 BC. His parents escaped Bethlehem to go to Egypt to avoid their son being executed. Yeah, killing a little baby, I mean, that's really low. So they went to Egypt. And did Jesus blend in with these Egyptians? I mean, if he was white, it would have been easy to spot him along with a lot of these little black kids. But were the Egyptians still black at this point? Because you gotta remember, the Egyptians they were conquered by the Persians and the Babylonians around 5 centuries later. I mean, earlier. And skin color does change over time. I mean, if I have a son with a white woman, my kid's pretty much going to be white and black pretty much. Then my son turns around and has a kid with a white person. I mean, that grandkid I have is probably pretty much going to look like a white person pretty much. And if they have a kid with a white person, then my great-grandkid, it'll be pretty white. It'll probably just look like a normal white person, but that kid came from me, descended from me. So that's probably what happened with these European Jewish people. I'm guessing over time you can marry into white people, and then they married into white people, but that gene still carried on. They were still Hebrew people by blood. So European Jewish people, they probably really are Hebrew descendants. They just mixed over time with white people. So then we're just gonna go to these Bible verses. I have them up. So Isaiah 53, verse 2. So that was verse 2, okay. So he grew up before him like a tender shoot. So by the way, this is before Christ, so this is somebody predicting Jesus before he was born. And like a root out of dry ground, he had no beauty or magic to attract us to him. None in his appearance that we should desire him. So pretty much, there's nothing special about the way Jesus looked. He pretty much looked like a normal person. And let's go to another book, Revelation 1. This is pretty much the only time we ever hear about the appearance of Jesus. Chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. The hair on his head was like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were like blazing fire. His feet were like bronze glowing in the furnace, and his voice was like the sound of rushing water. So it would say his hair was like wool, and my hair kind of does feel pretty much like wool. Of course, my friend's Puerto Rican, his hair would also kind of feel like wool. So those are two possibilities. Not a lot of white people with hair feel like wool, pretty much. And his feet were like bronze, glowing furnace. So it don't actually say what color he was, but it does say his feet were like bronze in the glowing furnace. But the real question is, does it really matter what color Jesus was? And the answer is pretty much no. I mean, I don't really care what color Jesus was. I mean, if he could be a big old Samoan guy, and I wouldn't really care as long as he saved me from my sins, saved me from burning in hell. So no, it doesn't really matter what color he was, because Jesus is the Son of God, and God pretty much chooses what family he was to be born in. Whether that family was an Asian family, a white family, a black family, a Native American family, he still would have been the Son of God, and he still would have died for our sins the same way, no matter what race he was. He still would have been Jesus, and he still would have pretty much been the Son of God, no matter how his appearance looked. The real thing that does matter is he was born to a virgin, and he died for our sins. I mean, when you think about it, Jesus is the Son of God. He was really powerful. But he let Pilate hell and these weak humans. I'm going to say weak humans because he's the son of God. He could take out, let's be honest, he pretty much crushed Goliath's head with just 2 fingers. He's the son of God. But he let these people bully him, nail him to a cross. He did that for us. I mean, Jesus could have looked down at these people and been like, you know what? Screw this human race. I'm going to get down from this cross and I'm going to leave. And if he would have did that, the human race at that time would have pretty much been screwed. Every single person in the world that lived or ever did live would have went to hell. There would have been no saving them. And I pretty much wouldn't have been born, and neither would you been born. Because I think God would just end the world at that point. If Jesus would have turned his back on the humanity. But he didn't. He took that beating like a man, or should I say like a God in a man's body. He took that beating. He took the whelps. Then he came back from the grave like 3 days later. So we could have a choice. So we could have a chance to go to heaven, because really, none of us deserve to go to heaven. We all deserve to burn in hell. So that's what does matter. It's what Jesus did and who he was, not what color he was. So you do like my video, you can give me a thumbs up. You subscribe to my channel. But with that being said, Merry Christmas.